I want to do a quick tutorial on why it's important to use a design software as opposed to a different type of software like a Word document or Pages on a Mac. There's a lot more options and a lot more things you can do with the design software if you're creating something that's visual. And so I'm not going to do a deep dive into the software just because you may choose to use something different. But I use Affinity Designer. I've used it for a few years now. I've found that it's very intuitive and it's very user friendly and it's very affordable. And so this is the one that I've chosen to use and it works really well for me. You may choose to use something different though. But I want to show you some of the tools that will be pretty much the same throughout any sort of design software that you choose to use. And then when you do decide on a software, if you don't already have one, you can go through tutorials specifically for that software to figure out how it works and how you can create your visual communications. So I want to go in, just create a new document. And right off the bat, you can see that there's a lot more options when you're first starting out. So you can choose what units you want to work in, if you want to work in pixels or inches. You can choose your color formatting, so RGB or CMYK, and that kind of depends on if you're going to be printing out something or if it's going to be more of a digital visual. And you can choose any size that you want, so that's completely up to you, completely up to the project, and also what kind of how high of a resolution you want. So yeah, right off the bat you have just a lot more options to set things up. And then once you get in here for your document, you can see all of your different tools and sets that it's already preset with. There's all these different shape tools, so you can create your own shapes, you can create your own clip art based on what you want. And along with those comes, the transform tools. So let's say you want to create some perfect circles, you can fix the sizes on everything to make it perfect. And you also have your layers over here. So everything that you place on the document will come up with its own layer. And so you can, maneuver things that way, move things around. If you need to hide things so that you can work with just one area of your design, you can do that. So the layers actually help out a lot. And there is also more options for your text. So you have your artistic text tool, which is typically for, a title or a header. It's just going to be a few words. And then you also have the option to have a frame text tool. And that one, so if you have a few paragraphs you need to arrange, your text will stay within your designated area that you want for your text. So you have that option as well. Also with the design software, it's a lot easier to upload any sort of images that you want. Let's see, I can go down. I had this image. You can place your images. You can move them around, resize them based on what you need. And let's just say I'm creating kind of a fun poster for, a library. You have all these different text options. It's a lot easier to just kind of maneuver things around, move things. And another thing that's really important with design software is you have a lot more color options. So you can, pretty much do anything that you need with color. You can, let's say you want to match something, you can come over here and say you want to match this blue on this book, and you can do that really quickly. Resizing things is super easy. Say there's also a transform tool for text. So let's say that I don't like how large the space is between my text, so I want to decrease that amount of space. There is also options to spread out your words more. So without actually reducing the size of the actual wording, you can spread those out, shrink them back in if you want less room. There's just so many more options. Another tool that I use quite often is the Align tool. So let's say I want to make sure that my text and my background are aligned and centered. So I'll center that way, and that is just a really quick tool to make things a lot easier for you when you're trying to make sure everything is centered or aligned together. And there's also a lot more options for exporting. So let's say that you're done and you want to print it out or send it out in an email. You can save it as a JPEG option, PNG, PDF. It doesn't really matter, whatever you need it to be. Then there are also a lot more options that way. So this is kind of just a quick overview of why it's important and much easier to use a design software for anything that you're creating that is geared towards visual.